You've probably met someone like this before. A guy walks right into a room, not flashy, not loud, however, everybody turns. He doesn't want to prove whatever. Human beings just appear to feel something about him. He seems around calm, composed, as if the air itself is adjusting to make room for him. Might be a no person on paper, however, in that moment, you wouldn't are aware of it. His presence says in any other case. And also you take a seat. They're watching, wondering, how does he do this? Why do humans deal with him like he's essential, even if he's completed not anything but? Here's the uncomfortable fact: he's no longer necessarily better than you. He might not be smarter, extra skilled, or more deserving. However, he does one thing you do not. He acts like nobody is better than him. And the sector believes it. You have been taught to attend your flip, to be humble, to allow your work speak for itself. However, in reality, the world doesn't wait to listen your tale. It reads your posture, it listens for your tone, it watches the way you stroll, the way you communicate, the way you take a seat, the way you appearance someone in the attention or keep away from it. Your presence speaks earlier than your voice does, and if your presence says I'm unsure, then people will treat you like you don't belong, no matter how high quality you are inner. It is why the phrase act as if you are the nice isn't always just motivational fluff. It's a survival approach. You do not become effective after which start acting like you deserve appreciate. You act like you already deserve it. And that is what opens the doors. This could sound like theater, and in a way it is. However, theater isn't always faux. Theater is overall performance with motive. When an actor steps on degree, they may be now not mendacity. They're showing up completely, taking the position seriously, and welcoming others into belief. That is what you should do, because within the theater of life, those who hesitate to perform are given historical past roles, regardless of how wonderful they are behind the scenes. You may suppose the sector rewards ability. It doesn't. It rewards truth. The man who walks with conviction receives listened to, even if he is incorrect. The man who hesitates, even if he is proper, is regularly unnoticed. Humans observe electricity. They follow readability. They observe the one who seems like he is aware of. Self-belief is not a prize you earn after you've received it, is the armor you wear earlier than the combat starts. It's no longer the result of success. It's the circumstance for it. Think about the times you allow opportunities skip due to the fact you did not experience ready. Consider conversations wherein you wanted to talk, however doubted you're proper to say whatever. Consider the instances you worked tougher than everyone else, however were nonetheless passed over due to the fact a person else claimed the position with self-belief at the same time as you waited for permission. This global doesn't hand out permission slips. It fingers out rewards to individuals who act like they already belong on the table. It is why a number of the maximum hit humans aren't the most talented. They are the maximum convincing. They stroll just like the ground owes them something. They talk like their phrases are regulation. They pass just like the crown is already on their head, even if it's still invisible. And finally, the sector starts off evolved to look the crown too. It's not magic, it's repetition. It's the subject of displaying up every day as the person you want to grow to be until you've got repeated the picture so typically that people prevent questioning it. They simply accept as true with it. You would possibly say, but I am now not that assured. But that's first class. You don't need to be. You just need to act like you aren't, to deceive others, but to retrain yourself. You are not pretending, you're becoming. You are shaping your presence like a sculptor. Fashion stone, you carve, you polish, you alter, and slowly the image becomes actual. Every movement topics, how you input a room, how you shake fingers, the way you concentrate, how you talk, it is all a part of the sign you send. And that sign isn't passive, it's lively. It either pulls people in or pushes them away. It either says I'm a person or you can forget about me. People do not dig deep. They reply to what's at the surface now, not because they're cruel, but due to the fact it truly is how we are stressed. We do not have time to assess all and sundry's soul, so we go off cues. Frame, language, voice, eye, touch, tempo, posture, self-belief. This is not about arrogance, it's approximately assumption. In case you anticipate you are effective, you'll begin to walk like it, speak, adore it, seem like it, and the arena will slowly reflect that back to you in case you expect you are invisible, which you want to prove yourself first, that others are better than you, then you will circulate. Accordingly, you will shrink, you'll wait, you may apologize for taking over space. And once more the sector will replicate that again to you, you aren't simply dwelling in the international, you're projecting into it. And the arena is responding to what you be, what you venture now, not on your capacity, no longer for your reality, but for your sign, so act like you are the first. Great no longer to place others down, but to reveal yourself in the international, that you eventually recognize what nobody ever taught you: electricity isn't granted, it's miles assumed, and the one who dares to assume it wins. Have you ever questioned why a few humans, even if they've not anything clearly incredible to offer, nevertheless get all the attention? They stroll right into a meeting, provide some vague ideas, and but come what may, everybody nods, listens, concurs, mean, while a person else you perhaps has spent hours thinking through the hassle, refining solutions, making ready carefully, and none the less your words land softly and die in the air. It's now not your intelligence it really is lacking, it's now not your instruction, it is the sign you ship the instant you open your mouth, or maybe before the arena doesn't comply with competence. It follows reality. Humans crave something, company to consider in, and while you walk and communicate like you are really sure of yourself, you become that anchor others are looking for, even in case your ideas aren't ideal. Self-belief then isn't a praise, it is a demand. In case you want a lead, you cannot wait until you feel absolutely equipped. You may never feel absolutely geared up. No person does this, is the name of the game. The distinction is people who upward push, pick out to act like they are ready, even if they're terrified internal. This is the lie that will become the fact, because whenever you convey yourself like you're on top of things, humans begin to believe it. They modify themselves to your rhythm, they respond to the picture you challenge, no longer the facts you convey. That is why you've got visible common guys lead brilliant teams, why loud, overconfident voices take in all the area, while the quiet genius stays a footnote, due to the fact the sector displays what you broadcast, not what you include. You could be terrific, insightful, and sturdy, but if your conduct whispers hesitation, humans won't dig deeper to discover what you're clearly made of. They will take the hint and pass on it. Is why you should own the room before the room offers you permission. Stroll in such as you belong, talk like you have already earned your area, deliver yourself like you have not anything to show, because the instant you try and prove something, you signal which you might not be as powerful as you declare. Even hesitation turns into a message, a put off in reaction, a apprehensive chuckle, a hunched posture. These are tiny leaks of strength that sign to the room, I'm no longer certain of myself, and those feel that instantly, and due to the fact human beings are deeply stressed to observe strength, or what seems like energy, they start to reposition you. They positioned you one rank decrease. They take your recommendations with a grain of salt. They take a look at your limitations extra freely. They query your opinions extra regularly, no longer due to the fact they need to harm you, however, because that's how the human mind operates. We believe what we can feel, we observe what we are able to feel, and confidence, true or executed, is one of the maximum powerful emotional alerts in lifestyles. It creates gravity, it attracts humans, and that is why you should by no means wait to be celebrated before you carry yourself like a winner. Never wait to be tested earlier than you stand tall. By no means wait for your flip to speak up. Take it, every hesitation is an invite for someone else to scouse, borrow your second. This is not about being loud, it's approximately being positive. Even your silence can command electricity in case you pick out it deliberately. When you sit in a room and say little but maintain eye contact, take a seat upright, and exude actuality, people start to wonder what you're questioning. They lean in, they pay attention, because silence, while paired with confidence, turns into mystery and thriller, is magnetic. However, silence without presence, it really is simply invisibility. You need to examine the distinction whilst you stroll into a space. Your first venture isn't to provide an explanation for yourself, it's to occupy it fully with your spine, your steps, your breath, your gaze, together with your power. Before you assert a word, Your presence has already started the communication. And while you subsequently communicate, let your voice carry the weight of your notion, now, not just perception to your idea, however belief in yourself. Speak like your phrases matter, like they bring results, like human beings. Would be silly now not to concentrate, because the truth is, if you speak without notion, your target audience won't agree with either. And if you do not look convinced of your own electricity, no one else can be. People want to comply with a person who appears to recognize in which they may be going. They need to stand at the back of a person who already seems selected. They need to hand the crown to someone who already acts like they may be carrying it. So act no longer due to the fact you are boastful, no longer due to the fact you are faking anything. However, because you recognize this sport and you're accomplished sitting on the sidelines, you do not owe the arena your humility, you owe it your presence. And in case you don't declare your area, a person else will, and probabilities are they may be far much less deserving than you may none the less marvel. What if I'm simply pretending? What if I act assured and someone sees through me? But here's the real twist: anyone's pretending, even the maximum powerful humans you respect. Sooner or later, they were just like you, unsure, worried, making it up as they went. The difference is that they failed to permit that uncertainty show. They acted with conviction earlier than they ever had proof. They understood something the general public in no way do. Your belief shapes truth, not the alternative manner around. Consider confidence as a sort of self-hypnosis. At the beginning, it feels awkward. You stand taller despite the fact that your legs experience shaky. You speak up despite the fact that your voice desires to tremble. You appearance someone in the eye, even though your instinct is to look away. But the more you repeat it, the more your frame learns the extra. Your voice adapts the extra. Your power catches up with your act. This is now not deception. It really is transformation. You are not lying to the world. You're teaching it a way to deal with you. And you are teaching yourself who you're becoming, because whenever you carry yourself like a person of value, you start to accept as true with it. And once you believe it, others observe. That is how reputations are constructed, not on reality, but on consistency. The arena would not reward the maximum proficient. It rewards the maximum consistent signal. In case you mission the equal picture on a daily basis, people ultimately receive it. They prevent questioning, they repeat it, and shortly your fable turns into your identity. You've got visible. This in motion. A person walks into a room with quiet actuality. He does not want to gloat. He doesn't even need to speak a great deal, but people make manner for him. They defer to him. Why? Due to the fact he assumes electricity, and assumption is contagious. It spreads like scent. Human beings feel it earlier than they recognize it. However, consider the man who walks in uncertain of his location. He smiles too often. His body shrinks into itself. He attempts to be agreeable to purpose, no pain, to take up as little area as viable. And what does the room do in reaction? It forgets him. It overlooks him now, not because he's not worth, but due to the fact he advised the room without saying a phrase. You do not should respect me. This is the quiet ailment of self-erasure. And it is a preference you can pick to cut back, to defer, to wait until a person tells you you're sufficient, or you can't. Pick to stand, as in case you already are. You don't need permission to begin acting powerful. You act effective. And the permission follows. The world will deal with you precisely the manner you deal with yourself. So whilst you stroll right into a room, forced, all playing small, do not look around, watching for a person to recognize your greatness. Walk like it is already understood. Speak like your words count. Circulate just like the room belongs to you now, not due to the fact you need to dominate others. However, due to the fact you finally refuse to disappear. Humans recognize truth now, not perfection, not humility now, not even talent. Reality, you may be incorrect, and nevertheless lead. You may lack in joy, and still be trusted, as long as you deliver yourself like someone who believes absolutely in who they're turning into. It really is why self-assurance isn't always quantity, it's no longer shouting or taking up area aggressively. It is presence, it's the quiet strength in your posture, the calm on your voice, the stillness on your eyes. It is transferring slowly, intentionally, because you don't want to rush for approval. It's preserving silence like a weapon. It is not wanting to persuade because you have already decided who you are. Others capture on speedy people. Need someone to observe a person to believe, someone who carries notion like a flame and lights the manner for others. And when they feel that power in you, they begin to organize around it, not because you pressured them to, but because they have been awaiting a person like you to appear. So don't wait, do not hold asking yourself if your equipped readiness is a myth. Nobody feels geared up. The strongest humans you know had been just formidable enough to act earlier than they were sure. They jumped and found out to land at the way down. It's your activity, not to best your photo, however, to pick it now, not to watch for proof, but to assume your position now, not to make an apology for who you're, however, to broadcast it with quiet force, because in case you do not, a person else will outline you for you, and they will write a model of your tale that fits their narrative, no longer yours. It really is the risk of silence. It is the cost of hesitation. You can both educate the arena who you're, or you can permit it label you based on how unsure you seem. You have possibly heard the pronouncing foe it till you make it. However, it's now not pretty right. You are no longer faking. Whatever you are turning into, you are practicing electricity, the way a musician practices their tool. Now not pretending to understand, however, committing to learn by means of doing again and again, till the moves, the voice, the posture, the strength, they're no longer an act anymore, they may be you. And while you get to that factor, when you've worn the crown good by it now, not feels heavy. Humans prevent wondering, they stop trying out, they begin assuming what you assumed lengthy ago. You are the one who leads, the one who topics, the one who belongs at the top. The irony is cruel, but actual energy does not visit the excellent. It goes to the one who believes he is the one who acts just like the nice, the only who radiates without apology, that no person is higher than him, no longer due to the fact he hates others, but due to the fact he finally stopped doubting himself. You are not in a competition for who's nicest or smartest or most hardworking. You're in a sport of belief, and notion bends truth. In case you deliver yourself as invisible, you may be. In case you communicate like you are uncertain, you may be challenged. Overlooked, however, if you talk with calm conviction, flow like your steps have motive, and stare into the sector like not anything can shake you. Humans will feel it, and they may reply. You don't want to scream to be powerful. You don't want to dominate to lead. You don't even need to have it all discovered. What you do need is to drop the habit of asking permission to exist. Stop looking forward to a person to understand your capacity. Prevent hoping a person will call on you. Prevent shrinking your presence to healthy a person else's consolation if they are uncomfortable together with your greatness. Allow them to squirm. This is not your problem anymore. Strength isn't always a praise surpassed out with the aid of truthful judges. It's a replicate. It reflects something. You ship it in case you send fear. It gives you rejection in case you send confidence. It gives opportunity. You are not simply taking walks through life. You're maintaining yourself with every step. And on every occasion, you walk right into a room. Every time you talk, each time you pick out to be silent or to act, you're sending a message. That is who I'm. That is how I anticipate to be dealt with. So permit me ask you, what have you ever been broadcasting? Have you ever been appearing like a man who is nevertheless waiting to end up good enough, or a person who already knows he is? Have you been on foot like a person uncertain of his really worth, or someone who consists of himself just like the global owes him attention due to the fact that solution more than your skills, your resume, or your intentions is what determines how the sector will deal with you? If you expect you are a history character, the world will in no way solid you, because the lead, if you act like your voice doesn't rely, people will prevent listening. But in case you expect you are essential, if you circulate like you're precious, then others will adapt to that strength. They may trust what you consider, because self-assurance, whilst repeated with subject, turns into fact. You could not control every state of affairs. You could now not usually get the outcome you want, but you do manage how you display up, and whilst you show up with certainty, people feel it. While you walk right into a room, and your presence speaks earlier than you do, something shifts. That shift is what separates the forgotten from the unforgettable, the sheep from the wolf. Only who waits from the only who makes a decision. So here is the fact that ends all debate. You do now not come to be powerful through coincidence. You become effective by assuming energy time and again, till it becomes not possible to look you as anything else. The person who walked with the notion that he's the nice is not waiting for permission. He isn't always watching for validation. He isn't always anticipating the proper time. He actions as if the game is already his, and the arena kneels, not due to the fact he requested it to, but due to the fact he taught it to. So now it is your flip. No more shrinking, no more explaining, no greater hoping from this second forward stroll, as though no person is better than you now, not due to the fact you've got something to prove, however, due to the fact no person will consider it till you do. Energy isn't always granted, it's far assumed, and the only who dares to count on it first rules. Now inform me, who are you going to be the moment this ends? The person who waits hesitates, apologizes,